What victory felt like stealing candy from a baby who was already starving. The whole fight started because of a tree, an ancient oak, massive and beautiful, that stood exactly on the property line between my perfectly manicured lawn and Mr. Harrison's sad, neglected yard next door. I loved the shade, but its roots were a nightmare. They were like thick veins pushing up through my driveway, creating a web of cracks that got worse every month. I had a quote from a concrete guy for $7,000 just to patch it, and he said it would just happen again unless the tree came down. Mr. Harrison, my neighbor, was a quiet old man. His wife, Eleanor, had passed away about a year ago. Now he just shuffled around his empty house, looking frail and lost. He was the kind of person you feel guilty even looking at for too long. He seemed to have nothing left in the world but his memories and this tree. I tried talking to him first, of course. I brought over a plate of cookies and explained the situation with my driveway. He just shook his head slowly, his eyes misty. "That was Eleanor's tree," he'd said in a voice that was barely a whisper. "We planted it the day our son was born. He's gone now, too. It's all I have left of them." He would stand by his window and just stare at it for hours. How do you argue with that? I felt like a monster, a greedy corporate villain from a cartoon, but the cracks in my driveway were getting worse. One was so wide I could fit my whole hand in it. Winter was coming and I knew the freezing and thawing would turn my driveway into a pile of gravel. So I did what I had to do. I went the legal route. I hired a surveyor to confirm the tree was on the property line. It was. I filed a petition with the city citing property damage. The whole process took months and felt horrible. It turned into a neighborhood drama. People would watch as I walked to my car, their faces a mix of pity and judgment. I was the guy trying to take away a grieving old man's last memory. I was fighting a starving baby for a piece of candy. Then, last Tuesday, the official letter arrived. It was a thick cream-colored envelope with the city's seal. My hands were shaking a little as I opened it. The city had sided with me. They deemed the tree a nuisance due to the extensive property damage. I had the legal right to have it removed. I won, but the victory felt hollow and disgusting. I just stood there in my kitchen, holding this piece of paper that gave me permission to break an old man's heart. I knew I had to tell him. It was the right thing to do. I spent an hour rehearsing what I would say, trying to find words that weren't completely awful. I walked over to his house, the letter heavy in my hand like a stone. I took a deep breath and knocked on his worn, peeling front door. He opened it, looking just as tired and sad as always. His house smelled like dust and old memories. "Mr. Harrison?" I started, my voice cracking a little. I'm so sorry. I came to tell you. The city sent the letter. They approved the removal of the tree. I braced myself for tears, for anger, for a shaky finger pointing at me, accusing me of being heartless. Instead, something completely unexpected happened. A slow, massive smile spread across his face, lighting up his tired eyes. It was the first time I'd ever seen him truly smile. He reached out, grabbed my hand with both of his, and shook it firmly. "Oh, thank God," he said, his voice filled with a relief so deep it was almost shocking. "I can't thank you enough. You have no idea." I just stood there, completely stunned. "What? I don't understand. I thought you loved that tree." He let out a short, dry laugh. "Loved it? Eleanor loved it. That woman babied that tree more than she babied me, but I hated it. The leaves in the gutters, the birds waking me up at dawn, the roots. Son, the roots." He leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Forget your driveway. Those roots have completely destroyed my foundation. I got a quote last year to have it taken down myself. $15,000. 15. I couldn't afford that in a million years." He patted my hand, still smiling. "I knew it was cracking your driveway too. I just prayed you had more fight in you than I did. Having you go through the city and pay for it was the only way I could ever get rid of the thing without going broke. You saved me, son. You truly did."